hello, everyone, and welcome to the NFL version of ProLine, direct from Las Vegas, the gaming capital of the world. I'm John Cranton, joined by Las Vegas handicappers Jeff Sott and Zach Simony. Going to take a look at the upcoming playoff games for the conference championship coming up. And also congratulations to Ohio State. I mean, it's a team that had a remarkable story from start to finish, and I suspect if they didn't have 4 turnovers, they might have scored 85 points in that win last night.
Yeah, the books needed Oregon to cover, but win but not cover. So I'm thinking it was not a great day for the books. But Ohio State, I had Ohio State last night. It was a pretty much convincing win. What made it so unusual was that Ohio State had all those turnovers, and they still made it pretty easy. Luke Fickell, the defensive coordinator, he was hammered last year for the way Ohio State's defense played in the last few games. But the defense actually won the game last night. That was the part that I saw. But it was a great win for Ohio State. And now tonight, unfortunately for Michigan, they have to go to Ohio State and play a basketball game amid all that hoopla. So it's just everything's coming up roses for Ohio State right now, John.
It certainly is, yeah. And, college football underdogs that turn the ball over 4 times in a game have a record of 51 and 925. That's 5% winners. So Ohio State was just a remarkable story from start to finish. Let's tell everybody what we have going on before we get to the games coming up for the NFL this weekend. Zach, you're on a 43 and 23 and 1 run in the NFL in your college basketball, a sizzling 69, 33 and 3 for the season. How can folks get aboard for this plays for this weekend?
Yeah, JimPrice.com. The plays, we're going to discuss some of the games going on here, obviously, in the NFL, so not much to offer there, but college basketball, still big boards going on, and they'll be up on JimPrice.com, hopefully 4 to 5 plays on Saturday.
All right, and Jeff runs Las Vegas Sports Services. Jeff, that run you're on in the NBA, 21 and 6. You had a nice weekend in the NFL playoffs, a 3-1 run, including that 20-star winner with Seattle.
Yeah, it was 3-1 in the NFL on Saturday, and in college basketball it was 4-2, including a blockbuster winner with Wyoming over Boise State. Plus, I had Ohio State once again on Monday night. This week I'm going to have a 20-star NFL play. If you call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916, it's only $20. Online it's $99. Plus, if you call, you're going to get a week of basketball. So call 1-866-575-8916. You're going to get that 20-star NFL play. $20 on the phone, $99 online. Plus, I'm going to give you a week of basketball.
All right, and Jim Feister, he enjoyed the weekend too. He on a 7-0 run with NBA Games of the Year. And as far as football, he enjoyed the weekend 4-1 run with sides in football. That includes Ohio State on Monday night. He's also on a 4-1 run with NFL Games of the Year this weekend. He has his NFL total or playoff total of the year. Remember, about a month ago, he had his NFL total of the year. That was the Colts Titans under the total. His playoff game of the year is available right now, and you can get it for free actually at 1-866-883-1448, or you can get it online at jimfight.com. All right, let's get into some of the games going on Sunday. The 2 conference championship games are going to start in the NFC. You got Green Bay heading up to drizzly Seattle. It's going to be about 44 degrees, but a little bit of rain over a couple of days, including a game time. Seattle dominant home team, 7.5 point favorite with the total of 47. And it's kind of back to the future because these teams met on opening day. Seattle won right on this field, 36-16. They had an edge in yards of 398 to 255. So it was complete dominance. Aaron Rodgers was sacked 3 times in that game. And that's part of a trend between these teams. The home team, 4-1-2 against the spread. So, Jeff, you got this contrast in styles, the conservative run-oriented Seattle team with a powerhouse defense against a pass-oriented Green Bay team. So, and I wonder here, the Packers, are they going to try a different style than they did in that first game, or are they really a different team since that first game in September?
Well, they definitely do better than that first game. They also have an extra weapon now. They have Devontae Adams, who didn't play in that game. He had 117 receiving yards on 7 catches against the Cowboys. The Seahawks have won 7 in a row. They had that loss, I think, to the Chiefs, and then they had a team meeting. And ever since then, they've back into Super Bowl form like they had last year. They were kind of had that Super Bowl hangover at the end of the season. A lot of teams go through. But you always like to have teams that go through a little adversity, then figure it out, and they get hot at the end of the season. The Packers defense is going to have to play better than they did against Dallas. Tony Romo was 15 and 19. DeMarco Murray rushed for 123 yards. Aaron Rodgers was able to have a great day there versus the Cowboys on that partially torn left calf. But the Seattle defense is going to be a lot tougher if they can keep Eddie Lacy in check as they did the first game. When they played him the first time, then they can focus more on Rodgers. The Packers are 0-5 against the spread on field turf this year. That might be another factor here. But right now, this time of the season, as we've seen through the years, it's the hot team that you want to go with. And right now, the Seahawks won 7 in a row, so I'll be leaning toward the Seahawks right now, John.
All right, yeah. I used to cover games in the New England area during the Larry Bird era, and the Celtics had a incredible home field dominance, similar to what the Seattle Seahawks here. One year they went 40-1 at home, and what happened is that old Boston Garden, it was built so that the fans were actually closer to the court as opposed to other NBA arenas, and players and coaches coming in, they used to say that all the time. They say, my God, it's so loud in here, it's deafening. Well, this Seattle team, Seattle Stadium was built similar. The fans are a little bit closer than usual for most stadiums, and it's not even a dome either. Can you imagine the home field edge they'd have and how loud it would be if it was closed? But the numbers that Seattle had is incredible. 36-16-1 spread run overall, and their home field run now 25-2 straight up, 19-8 against the spread. Seattle's offense, it's really not that tricky. They're not a good passing team, 27th in the NFL in passing, and they're tops in rushing. So, Zach, we know what the Seattle game plan is going to be. They're going to run the football, but can Green Bay contain that in any way?
Oh, they did so in a decent way against Dallas, I would say. They did it enough, but that's what you need in the playoffs. But I think in this game, the quarterback edge is definitely obviously on Aaron Rodgers' side. And I like his composure this season. If you look back a couple of times this year when they've had adversity, he had the one incident when they had the losing streak, and he told the media and everybody just to chill out, don't worry about it. Then they went on that big winning streak. Then recently, obviously, he had his calf injury. Once again, people are on him. A lot of people took Dallas money line. I was glad I had the points. Barely covered that, but he played a great game. I really didn't see too much of an issue with that calf. There was a couple plays where it looked like he was favoring it a little bit, but for the most part, he was able to move enough. And that's all he needs right now is one full game, get to the Super Bowl. And 7.5, I think that's a lot of points in the conference championship game with the caliber seed that Green Bay is. We're not talking Carolina Panthers type team. We're talking the Green Bay Packers. Line differential, obviously, in those two games is quite a bit, but Carolina played well in the first half, and things just unraveled. I don't think you saw Cam Newton have some wide open throws that he just missed, especially in the first half. Carolina could have been up in that game if he just fired those balls correctly. That touchdown pass that Kelvin Benjamin got pushed out of bounds on, that would have been a touchdown with Aaron Rodgers. There was a couple of tight end throws wide open. Those would have been 30, 40-yarders with Aaron Rodgers. So there are plays on the field that Seattle's been exposed all season long. They've been exposed. The St. Louis Rams did it with backup quarterback. Cardinals did it with backup quarterback. Not to a great extent, but they did it enough. And there's been teams that moved the ball. Alex Smith, as Jeff said, when they beat them. And I think they've got enough balance on the offense with the wide receiver sets they have and Eddie Lacy running football that they'll be able to keep in this game. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I think this game's going to be tighter than the point spread suggests. And I'll get that 7.5 in today.
Do you think the Seattle defense has taken a little bit of a step back from a year ago?
I think they can be thrown on. They can be thrown on much more than they did last year. I don't know if that has to do with losing Browner or some other injuries they've had on defense, but yeah, that seems to be the case. It's gonna be a crapshoot. I know I don't trust Green Bay's secondary. You saw all those holdings and penalties. It gets kind of sickening, but I think Aaron Rodgers can match what's thrown at him, either by his defense or by that home crowd of Seattle.
Yeah, in the first meeting between these teams, Aaron Rodgers didn't throw in Richard Sherman's direction once, and it was a blowout by 20 points. I got to believe that's going to change. And I will take a look at Green Bay here, the underdog, because I like the coaching staff of the Packers. They're very innovative. They're up on the ball. And I can see them doing things differently than they did in that first meeting, including you might as well go no huddle or a quick strike passing attack to stay away from the Seattle blitz and pass rush, especially with that injury to Aaron Rodgers. I can see them doing stuff like that. They've got the best quarterback in the game, terrific wide receivers. And Seattle, they're a favorite here, but it's not an explosive offense. We talked about it as ball control, conservative. They're happy to get up 7-0, 10-0, and they're not a type of team that normally pours it on. Finally, Green Bay, when they face a team with a winning record, very strong pedigree of 22-8-1 against the spread. So I'll look at a close game here and back the underdog.